Hello and welcome to another Tuesday Talking Politics here on Channels Television. This is Political Paradigm. I am Terry Ikumi. Today, my guest has been away from conversations for a while, but it's time to have a detailed conversation with regard to his political ambition. My guest is Senator Dino. He is running for the office of Governor of Kogi State. Your distinguished, I almost called you Your Excellency.
Yeah, from your mouth to God's ears.
Welcome to Political Paradigm.
The pleasure is always mine, and good to see you again after a very long time.
It's almost 2 years since our last interview.
Yes.
What have you been up to? I noticed that you've been quite away from the media. You've not been in the news. Is it because of the campaigns? Yeah,
we're just trying to be focused. We're trying to make sure that every attention is towards the election, and we don't want to be distracted, but we're on course.
But how's that going for you? How are campaigns going? Because I know that you spend a lot of time outside Abuja.
Yeah, it's going well, very well. We thank God. We've done all the basics, and the people of Kogi State are resolute on what they want to do. And by the grace of God, I'm the next governor of Kogi State. Because our people are disenchanted, they are disillusioned. We've had government without governance in the last 7 years. It's been a case of perfidy. We're in times of vicissitude, times of vacillation, times of opprobrium. People are completely not happy. Our hospitals in Kogi State have become mere consultant clinics. There are no roads, no water, no governance of any sort. People are impoverished. Salaries are not being paid. And when they are paying in percentage. You'll be surprised to know that in Kogi State today, a permanent secretary is using Okada to the office. A serving permanent secretary using Okada to the office in Kogi State. You find a level 14 officer being paid 16,000 naira a month, only 25% of his salary. Teachers are not being paid. Local government workers are living in penury. The whole environment is in serious jeopardy. So we need a redemption. We need a rescue. We need amelioration, we need palliation, we need corrective measures. And the whole state is looking up to the PDP to ameliorate the situation, to make sure that by the grace of God, good governance is actually brought back to the people.
We will talk about the aspect of governance with regard to what you plan to do for your people, especially considering the state of the state, as you have mentioned. But I'd like us to do some politicking. This is politics. And as they say, it's a game of numbers. So let's do some real good politics in Kogi State now. So I'll start off by asking you, if all the political parties in Kogi State have a level playing field to operate as it stands now?
With Yaya Bello and the APC, you cannot have a level playing field because, as I speak with you, the level of violence invoked in Kogi State is something that has never been seen in the history of our country. Today, Kogi State have the highest number of missing persons in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Many people are missing, including the chairman of PDP in Okene local government.
But how did you get these numbers, and how are you sure that they are politically motivated?
Because all the people missing are members of our political party, some of them leaders at various levels. The chairman of Okene local government, PDP, have been missing for more than 4 years. And I can count in their tens people who have disappeared in Kogi State. We've not seen them. We don't know where they are. Then we have dozens of people killed, many of them under sunlight. Just about 2 months ago in Ejule, in Kogi East, 27 people were murdered extrajudicially in one day. You have the history of one of our women leaders who was burnt alive in a house. So the magnitude and intensity of violence, of outrageous killings, of missing persons is legendary in our history. But we are not, and all this is to intimidate the people, is to create fear in the people. We are going to take over the arms of affair of that state, and we are going to give the people the peace they need. And that is why the slogan of my campaign of this election is one Kogi, one destiny. We have never been this divided in our history as a state. The below have impoverished the people, it's created fear in the people, and we are bringing a song of hope. We are bringing a song of redemption. We are bringing a song of freedom. We are saying that, yes, weeping may tarry till night, but joy cometh in the morning. We are telling the people that is a new dawn for Kogi State.
Are you saying that, as it stands now, you're unable to campaign in Kogi State, like other political parties?
Nobody, including Ayabelo, can stop me or the PDP from campaigning. We have been campaigning. We will campaign even in Agasa, his hometown in Okene local government.
You know why I asked you this question? I try as much as I can to make sure that this conversation is objective and not personal. So when you say that you are able to campaign, but yet you say that the APC is not allowing a level playing field, could you be a little more detailed?
What I'm saying in essence is like the SDP candidate was accosted, so many attacks on him and some other gubernatorial candidates. For example, there's no level playing field because recently there was a draconian decision by the state government that for you to erect a billboard, for you to post posters, for you to use signages as campaign tools in Kogi State, in the length and breadth of Kogi State, within territorial space of Kogi State, every political party should pay first a deposit of 50 million naira. And then you have to pay 2 million naira per billboard. With the number of billboards that we in the PDP have now for our governorship election, by the time we tabulated and summed it up, we'll be paying the state government over 1 billion naira. And when Section 88 of the Electoral Act is clear that a political party or a governorship candidate must not spend more than 1 billion naira. So servicing signages by this draconian law of Yaya Bello, you'll be contravening sections of the law. You'll be contravening the provisions of the Electoral Act and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that say you can't spend beyond 1 billion. So that alone has created an avenue for not having a level playing ground. The APC have billboards everywhere, they have posters everywhere. Have they complied? Have they paid such amount of money? So when I said there's no level playing ground, this is a typical example of outrageous pricing of signages, posters, and billboards to disenfranchise other political parties from having a level playing ground.
Interestingly, I was in Kogi State for the last election, which produced Yahya Bello for a second term. And clearly the people of Kogi State would come out to vote. And the concerns for many now would be two things: whether they would be guaranteed of their safety, and secondly, whether the people of Kogi State are informed enough to make the right decisions with regards to this election.
Due to the maladministration of the APC in Kogi State, due to the destructive tendencies of Yahya Bello and his party, you don't need an evangelist. You don't need a prophet. You don't need an imam to tell you in Kogi State that change is imminent. Change is important. Because as I speak, people can no longer feed themselves. Kogi State is a civil servant state. It's not an industrialized state. It's not a commercial state. And as I speak, he carried out a screening exercise that lay off thousands of civil servants from their daily job. And these people that were laid off for frivolous reasons. This is the first time in the history of this country where 120 professors and academic staff were unceremoniously sent packing from Kogi State University. No university is properly, they are all understaffed because every university only employ based on available resources, but no university is adequately staffed. But Kogi State University, that is supposed to be looking for lecturers, laid off 120 professors and lecturers in one day. This is outrageously calamitous. It's unacceptable. People who became professors in the University of Ibadan, in Ahmadu Bello University, University of Nigeria and Nsukka, in Unilag, but only came back to give service to their states. You said you are screening them out. They were qualified to lecture in the premier universities in this country, in the first generation universities in this country. But Kogi State University laid them off. These are some of the anomalies that nobody needs to be campaigned to. Nobody needs to be talked to. Everybody in Kogi State knows that we live in times of opprobrium, and everyone is calling for a change. And the only alternative to APC in Kogi State is the PDP.
But then the APC still won the presidential election in Kogi State.
There's a difference between winning and being declared. So I disagree that the APC won the presidential election. APC was declared as the winner of the presidential election. And since the matter is right now in the Supreme Court, I will not want to comment on it.
Let's talk about your person now. You had recently lost the senatorial primaries, and then you got the governorship ticket. That's commendable by a lot of people because clearly you also lost the senatorial election to Senator Smart the other time. And then a number of people are wondering, how did you transition from losing the senatorial ticket to getting the governorship ticket? And most importantly, what are the lessons that you learned from losing your election as a senator, trying to return to the National Assembly and going into the governorship election?
I will start by saying that I didn't lose the elections. If you recall,
the primary, the previous one.
The primaries, we had a tie. And eventually, I don't want to go into that history. I won the 2019 senatorial elections. I was declared and I was sworn in. But somehow, after being sworn in and I'm in the Senate, they went to court. And a man who won 6 out of 7 local governments, the court upturned that election. And everything that happened is history. About 11 people were killed on the day of that election, including my nephew, who was killed within my community on that day. The kind of violence, helicopters were releasing bullets from the sky. The whole country saw what happened. And that was the period also that one of our women leaders was born alive in a house. So that is that. For the governorship election, I won the primaries overwhelmingly. And it's one of the most transparent primaries conducted by the PDP in the history of our state. And that will also lead me to announcing to you that the PDP is the only political party in Kogi State today that conducted a primary. Every other candidates of other political parties, they were either replacements or just appointed. Only the PDP conducted a primary, transparent primary. Today in the history of only the PDP conducted a primary. And as I speak with you, we are not only prepared for the election, we are the only political party that inaugurated a policy document committee and have unveiled our policy documents direction.
We would love to hear what that contains eventually. But let me ask you a question. There are at least 18 candidates that will stand for the governorship election on the 11th of November in Kogi State. What stands you out?
What stands me out is the 3 E's. 1, I'm one of the most educated. in this election. 2, I am one of the most experienced politically in this election. 3, I am also one of the most civilized. Apart from myself, the other 2 experienced candidates is Leke Abejide of the ADC, who is a member of the House of Reps, and Beiwa of NNPP, who was a former deputy speaker and was a member of the House of Reps. And the House of Reps that my brother Leke Abejide is now, I was there over 17 years ago. So I haven't been to the House of Reps, the senator, voted into the Senate twice, as Senator of the Federal Republic. I am the most politically experienced. And that will come to bear when we go to the field. Apart from just these 2 people I mentioned, every other candidate of other political parties are trying election for the first time. They are experimenting election for the first time. They've never even been councillors. They've never run and be candidate of any elections in the past.
Well, you see how that played out, right? In the presidential election, there are a lot of first-timers, specifically on the Labour Party ticket. So are you not worried about the Labour Party candidate in your state?
If you look at the history of those who participated, especially at the presidential level, none of them is a starter.
No, not the presidential level specifically. Mm-hmm. For example, in the National Assembly, state houses of assembly, a lot of first-timers from the Labour Party.
We are talking of governorship election here now.
No, I understand. I'm just looking at first-time opportunities. Surprisingly, got a Labour Party governor.
Yeah, but it wasn't contesting election for the first time.
So you think that
it wasn't running an election for the first time?
So you think that first time at that level?
You need experience. And you can't be a first-timer at the House of Reps level, at the House of Assembly level, because the constituency is smaller.
Small.
But to be governor, you need political experience. You need administrative experience. You need to have coordinated people one way or the other.
Perhaps what they call electoral value, right?
Yeah, not just electoral value, but that's political experience is very, very germane and important. You must have coordinated people from different facets of our national or state life. You need to have mingled with people of different religion, different ethnicity. If you are contesting for House of Assembly, you may be contesting within the confine of an homogeneous society. Maybe people of the same language, people of the same, but as governor, you are going to interact with the Igbiras, you're going to interact with the Galas, you're going to interact with the Okuns, you're going to interact with the Basas.
And you're from the Okun.
I am from the Western.
And interestingly, Honorable Leke Abejide, whom you say has experience as well, that's from the same zone.
Very well so.
What does that say? Will that not deplete the votes that would likely come from that zone?
I know that our elders, our traditional rulers, leaders of thought from the West Senatorial Districts are having discussions with us, the candidates. Leke Abejide is a fantastic Okun man, and he's a philanthropist. He's a great Nigerian. He's a great Okun man. He is experienced, and he's serving the second term in the House of Reps. But for everything on earth, there's a time and season. If you ask a Volkswagen to pull a 911, it will be an onerous tax. I know that his days are in the immediate future, but not today. Because to be governor of Kogi State, we're not talking about the House of Reps. To be governor of Kogi State, you need more than just being a member of the House of Reps. Because today, he's running on the platform of ADC. Political Science 101, Post 101, teaches elementary Post 101, teaches us that politics is all about structure. And the Labour Party election have told us that structure is important in politics, either at national level or at gubernatorial level. Today, ADC have no reach in the central. They have no reach in the eastern part of the states. They will need to generate over 3,000 agents in the over 3,000 polling units across the states. There is no regional champion that have become either president or governor. You cannot run on as a regional champion or a party with regional dominance and win governorship or national elections. Politics is played on structure, and I will give you, if you permit me, I'll give you quick examples. Awolowo, very intellectually mobile Nigerian, very respected, very sagacious, as brilliant as he was, as acceptable as he was, as popular as he was. He never became the president of this country because UPN and Action Group was a regional political party who could only win elections within its region. The same thing for Azikiwe, who was a prolific writer, experienced nationalist. But because he was running on regional grounds, he never became the president of this country on democratic level. Buhari ran elections 3 times as a regional champion in APP, in ANPP, and in CPC. He never became president because he was running on regional ground. It was when he now ran on a national platform after the merger and coalition of other political parties that he won elections. Shagari also won election because he ran on a national platform. Because Akinloye was the chairman of the party, Alex Ekweme from the eastern part of the country was his vice presidential candidate. He won that election. So it is not possible for presidential and governorship election for a party that have no political fallopian tube, for a party that have no NAFDAC number, for a party that have no structure to win elections. Because to be the governor of Kogi State, you need 25% in 2/3 of the state, which is 14 local governments.
You're making a good point to some. However, the concern would likely be that your votes could be depleted, not him winning. I know you say that the traditional leaders are talking to both of you. Is the conversation suggesting that Leke Abejide would be asked to step down and support you?
What I'm saying in essence is that I've told you that Leke is my brother. The Okun people, we are one united family by the grace of Almighty God. And Leke Abejide means well for the West Senatorial Districts. Leke Abejide means well for Kogi State. And I'm telling you that talks are going on. And I know by the grace of God, at the end of the day, the Kogi West will produce only one candidate.
And it will be you.
At the end of the day, they will go for the best.
And it would be
And
you.
the best for now is Dino Melaye. Because I am not just the most politically experienced. I am not just the most popular of all the candidates in Kogi State. I am also from a party that have political structure in every polling unit of Kogi State. I am also from a party that have produced governors. Today, ADC have only, in the history of ADC, they have only 2 members of the House of Reps. They don't have 1 senator, they don't have a governor, they don't have anybody. And no one single individual can finance a governorship election.
So you're hoping for a merger?
Say
you're
again?
Hoping for a merger, some sort of support. Maybe not a merger,
it may not be. I'm not asking for a. I'm not saying there will be a merger, but there will be a lot of alliances.
Great.
There will be alliances. There will be a lot of collaborations. There will be a lot of working together, not only with ADC, even with other political parties. And I'm telling you that we met. Other political parties apart from APC met last 2 weeks, and we are meeting again next week. And the talks are on, and our common resolution is that APC must vacate Lugard House, and one of us will be governor of Kogi State.
And you say that you are the most experienced and you perhaps have the greatest electoral value. One other thing that you have, which would speak against you, for or against you, is track record. And many would want to on the 11th of November in Kogi State. What stands you out?
What stands me out is the 3 E's. 1, I'm one of the most educated. in this election. 2, I am one of the most experienced politically in this election. 3, I am also one of the most civilized. Apart from myself, the other 2 experienced candidates is Leke Abejide of the ADC, who is a member of the House of Reps, and Beiwa of NNPP, who was a former deputy speaker and was a member of the House of Reps. And the House of Reps that my brother Leke Abejide is now, I was there over 17 years ago. So I haven't been to the House of Reps, the senator, voted into the Senate twice, as Senator of the Federal Republic. I am the most politically experienced. And that will come to bear when we go to the field. Apart from just these 2 people I mentioned, every other candidate of other political parties are trying election for the first time. They are experimenting election for the first time. They've never even been councillors. They've never run and be candidate of any elections in the past.
Well, you see how that played out, right? In the presidential election, there are a lot of first-timers, specifically on the Labour Party ticket. So are you not worried about the Labour Party candidate in your state?
If you look at the history of those who participated, especially at the presidential level, none of them is a starter.
No, not the presidential level specifically. For example, in the National Assembly, state houses of assembly, a lot of first-timers from the Labour Party.
We are talking of governorship election here now.
No, I understand. I'm just looking at first-time opportunities. Surprisingly, got a Labour Party governor.
Yeah, but it wasn't contesting election for the first time.
So you think that
it wasn't running election for the first time?
So you think that first time at that level?
You need experience. And you can't be a first-timer at the House of Reps level, at the House of Assembly level, because the constituency is smaller.
Small.
But to be governor, you need political experience. You need administrative experience. You need to have coordinated people one way or the other.
Perhaps what they call electoral value, right?
Yeah, not just electoral value, but that's political experience. Is very, very germane and important. You must have coordinated people from different facets of our national or state life. You need to have mingled with people of different religion, different ethnicity. If you are contesting for House of Assembly, you may be contesting within the confine of an homogeneous society. Maybe people of the same language, people of the same, but as governor, you are going to interact with the Igbiras, you're going to interact with the Galas, you're going to interact with the Okuns, you're going to interact with the Basas.
And you're from the Okun.
I am from the Western.
And interestingly, Honorable Leke Abejide, whom you say has experience as well, that's from the same zone.
Very well so.
What does that say? Will that not deplete the votes that would likely come from that zone?
I know that our elders, our traditional rulers, leaders of thought from the West Senatorial Districts are having discussions with us, the candidates. Leke Abejide is a fantastic Okun man, and he's a philanthropist. He's a great Nigerian. He's a great Okun man. He is experienced, and he's serving the second term in the House of Reps. But for everything on earth, there's a time and season. If you ask a Volkswagen to pull a 911, it will be an onerous tax. I know that his days are in the immediate future, but not today. Because to be governor of Kogi State, we're not talking about the House of Reps. To be governor of Kogi State, you need more than just being a member of the House of Reps. Because today, he's running on the platform of ADC. Political Science 101, Post 101, teaches elementary Post 101, teaches us that politics is all about structure. And the Labour Party election have told us that structure is important in politics, either at national level or at gubernatorial level. Today, ADC have no reach in the central. They have no reach in the eastern part of the states. They will need to generate over 3,000 agents in the over 3,000 polling units across the states. There is no regional champion that have become either president or governor. You cannot run on as a regional champion or a party with regional dominance and win governorship or national elections. Politics is played on structure, and I will give you, if you permit me, I'll give you quick examples. Awolowo, very intellectually mobile Nigerian, very respected, very sagacious, as brilliant as he was, as acceptable as he was, as popular as he was. He never became the president of this country because UPN and Action Group was a regional political party who could only win elections within its region. The same thing for Azikiwe, who was a prolific writer, experienced nationalist. But because he was running on regional grounds, he never became the president of this country on democratic level. Buhari ran elections 3 times as a regional champion in APP, in ANPP, and in CPC. He never became president because he was running on regional ground. It was when he now ran on a national platform after the merger and coalition of other political parties that he won elections. Shagari also won election because he ran on a national platform. Because Akinloye was the chairman of the party, Alex Ekweme from the eastern part of the country was his vice presidential candidate. He won that election. So it is not possible for presidential and governorship election for a party that have no political fallopian tube, for a party that have no NAFDAC number, for a party that have no structure to win elections. Because to be the governor of Kogi State, you need 25% in 2/3 of the state, which is 14 local governments.
You're making a good point to some. However, the concern would likely be that your votes could be depleted, not him winning. I know you say that the traditional leaders are talking to both of you. Is the conversation suggesting that Leke Abejide would be asked to step down and support you?
What I'm saying in essence is that I've told you that Leke is my brother. The Okun people, we are one united family by the grace of Almighty God. And Leke Abejide means well for the West Senatorial Districts. Leke Abejide means well for Kogi State. And I'm telling you that talks are going on. And I know by the grace of God, at the end of the day, the Kogi West will produce only one candidate.
And it will be you.
At the end of the day, they will go for the best.
And it would be
And
you.
the best for now is Dino Melaye. Because I am not just the most politically experienced. I am not just the most popular of all the candidates in Kogi State. I am also from a party that have political structure in every polling unit of Kogi State. I am also from a party that have produced governors. Today, ADC have only, in the history of ADC, they have only 2 members of the House of Reps. They don't have one senator, they don't have a governor, they don't have anybody. And no one single individual can finance a governorship election.
So you're hoping for a merger?
Say
you're
again?
Hoping for a merger, some sort of support, maybe not a merger.
It may not be, I'm not asking for it. I'm not saying there will be a merger, but there will be a lot of alliances.
Great.
There will be alliances, there will be a lot of collaborations, there will be a lot of working together, not only with ADC, even with other political parties. And I'm telling you that we met, other political parties apart from APC met last 2 weeks, and we are meeting again next week. And the talks are on, and our common resolution is that APC must vacate Lugard House, and one of us will be governor of Kogi State.
And you say that you are the most experienced and you perhaps have the greatest electoral value. One other thing that you have, which would speak against you, for or against you, is track record. And many would want to know, with your time in the House of Representatives, with your time in the Senate, what sort of track records do you possess that you think would speak for you?
Anyway, today in the history of this country, I have the highest number of motions and bills in the history of this country. The record is there.
No. Let's talk about how your people see you first.
I'm coming. I was sent there. Every legislator have 3 primary responsibilities: the act of lawmaking, through bills and motions; 2, representation, making sure your people get their fair share of the national cake; then number 3 is your oversight function. So I'm giving you this based on these 3 cardinal objectives of a legislator, or cardinal responsibilities of a legislator. And I'm saying that in the areas of lawmaking, I have excelled well, having the highest number of motions and bills in the history of the National Assembly. As a member of the House of Reps, 3 consecutive years, I won the best member of the House of Reps in 2008, in 2009, and in 2010. I was best member of the House of Representatives. And in 2000, when I was in the Senate, for 3 consecutive years, I was best senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, despite all the distractions, despite all the unceremonious arrests and detentions. I was best senator for 3 consecutive years. And not only that, as a member of the House of Reps, my projects across my federal constituency are speaking for me. And today, in the history of the Senate in Kogi State, I can tell you categorically that within 3 years, I have over 200 constituency projects that today is speaking for me across the length and breadth of Kogi West Senatorial Districts. These projects are scattered all over. In terms of employment, I have also employed hundreds of people into the federal civil service. In terms of assistance to widows, skill acquisition, youth empowerment, I have also done my bit. Above all, I was a voice to the voiceless. I speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. I was on the neck of Yaya Bello, fighting for the workers of Kogi State, fighting for the civil servants and the people of Kogi State. And because of that, I was incarcerated time without number. 12 cases against me, federal government versus Dino, 12 court cases. To the glory of God, I've won 11. Only 1 left to go, where they said attempted suicide. But I don't know why I want to kill myself, knowing how enjoyable this world could be.
You jumped out of a moving vehicle.
So, that is there. So I have my track records. I have my opportunities, and I exploited them. And I want Nigerians to know that there's a difference between your side attractions and your productivity. And there's no relationship between your side attractions and the magnitude and intensity of your productivity. There's no relationship. Every man has got his side attractions. Arnold Schwarzenegger was an actor, but today is one of the finest governors produced in California, in Los Angeles. Understand? You have today the president of Ukraine, who is a comedian, but he has succeeded in doing things that even generals cannot do. So nobody should judge me by my side attractions.
What side attractions do you have that you think you're being judged?
Side attractions, Dino dress not in a senatorial manner. Dino sings. Dino take pictures. Dino is a comedian. Those are the side attractions that people talk about. But every human being has got his passion, and people furnish their passion in different ways. And let me tell you that what you have here is the newly improved Dino, because the office of the senator is different from the office of the governor, and each office comes with its own responsibility. And what I do as a senator, you should not expect that I will do it again as a governor.
No, I don't understand. Are you going to change your dress codes? Will you stop singing?
Come on. Dino will always be Dino. But I'm telling you that every office comes with its own responsibilities, and I will respect those responsibilities, but it won't stop me from being who I am.
So you continue to dress the way you like?
I will continue to be original. Okay. I will continue to be who I am, because those things have no negative concomitant effects on my productivity or my output.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to that report, which you talked about now. The report by Professor Sam Amadi, it's a policy document, I believe, and it's now been unveiled. A lot of people in Kogi State, in fact, the people of Kogi State, will hold on to that document. What exactly is it about that document that gives you the confidence that it will transform the fortunes of the state?
Anyway, what I've seen from that document is a first of its kind in Kogi State. And that document is, to me now, my new Bible, my new Quran. And I'm going to, by the grace of God, implement it to the latter, because it estrayed where we are as a state. It estrayed the comatose nature of where we are in the state. It expressed the infrastructural decay, the housing deficit, the need for civil service reform in the state. It expressed the poverty that our people have been bedeviled with. It expressed the lack of interest in the various mineral resources that we possess beneath the earth surface. It expresses the need for training and retraining of our public and civil service. So having looked at the magnitude of decay in the system, having looked at the systemic failure we are currently experiencing, it came up with a lot of ameliorative measures. And we want to do things differently in Kogi State. We want to do things differently. We want to act differently. We want to treat the citizens of Kogi State like customers, because the customer is always right. And you must treat the customer with some level of dignity and respect. That is why an MTN customer who is a roadside mechanic will put a call through the MTN customer service, and a beautiful graduate from the other end is addressing the mechanic as, "Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. What can I do for you, sir? How are you, sir?" That is the same dignity with which we are going to treat Kogites. We will treat Kogites, the indigents of Kogi State, like customers. And we are also going to look at, we brought in some people from Netherlands and Holland who came and carried out some geophysics survey for us in Kogi State. And we have now discovered that we have tens of mineral resources beneath the earth's surface in commercial quantities that have not been tapped. Out of all the over 2 dozens of mineral resources we possess in commercial quantity in Kogi State, only 1, limestone, have been tapped.
Are you sure Kogi has up to... I know you said 51.
I'm saying that
21.
Those we have in very international commercial quantities is about 2 dozen.
Where do you get this information from?
I told you that we brought in people who spent 5 weeks.
No, you brought in people.
I brought in people who spent over 5 weeks, and I have that report.
Yeah, the reason I ask this is that the ResearchGate says there are 21 mineral resources in Kogi State. But perhaps that's not the point.
Go and check when that report that you Googled.
That was a 2021 report.
You Googled.
Yes.
It's not when it was published, when the survey was done. And where was the survey done? Because you cannot concentrate on 2, 3, 4 local governments, because I saw the report you're talking about.
Okay.
The survey was conducted around 3, 4 local governments. But our survey was across the 21 local governments of the states. And it is correct by internationally certified geophysicists and miners.
We'll wait for when that when the report will be released. But most importantly, Senator Milai, you're really concerned that Kogi State is a civil service state, which should be more industrialized, especially because of the mineral resources. So what exactly are your plans to turn Kogi from a civil service state to a more industrialized state?
Our plans is to tap into the intellectual resource of the state. Apart from Ekiti states, we have the highest number of professors in this country. We have not tapped into that resource. Today in the world, idea is a new oil. Over 30 years ago, countries with extractive industries are the richest in the world. That's when you had people like King Fahad of Saudi Arabia, Sultan of Brunei, the Emir of Oman, But in the last 25 years down the line, the richest people on earth are those who have transformed ideas. The Bill Gates, the Zuckerberg, the Warren Buffett, name them, are people who have transformed ideas into, and we're talking ICT, we're talking technology, we're talking science. And today as I speak with you, Uber is just an app. You buy the car, you fuel the car, you service the car, you drive the car, and Uber makes money. Just an app. There is no store anywhere in the world called Amazon, but they sell everything. Zoom came, COVID came, and they started declaring billions of naira as profit after tax. Idea. So we want to develop our education sector and make sure that we tamper with our primary school curriculum. From kindergarten stage, we want to introduce ICT and become the education hub of this country. We have Kogites who are professors in artificial intelligence across the globe. We have Kogites who are professors in very unique field across the world. We want to bring these people back home and possibly create faculties and departments for these unique study areas in Kogi State University and completely revamp the curriculum and status of the state. That's one education. Another area we are looking at is tourism. Kogi State is a confluent state and the only confluent state in this country. The only state where River Niger and Benue meets. If you go to Miami, everybody in the world travel to Miami at summer to go and experience the beach cruise. The farthest beach cruise you have on earth is that of Miami, 4 hours, 15 minutes cruise, marine cruise. If you go to Dubai, you do a 1 hour cruise in a desert. But there's water. And you pay about 600 to 700 dirhams to go on a cruise. I want to announce to you that from Lokoja to Onitsha is 8 hours cruise. You can't find it anywhere in the world. All I need is a 1 year advert on CNN to announce that the farthest, longest marine cruise is in Nigeria. In Nigeria, it's in Lokoja.
No channels TV.
Understand? It's in Lokoja.
No, not channels TV. You're not looking for adverts on channels TV. I mean, we're international as well.
Yeah, very well so. You know, so if you do that advert, get the infrastructure right, in another 8 years, we will be bidding to host the Olympic Marine Games because the facilities would have been on ground. And you know what that will do to the economy of Kogi State? We need at the bank of the river, we're going to create boat clubs. There are loose funds all over the world begging for investment. All you need is leadership. Rwanda fought a genocide. A bitter genocide where 3 million people died. There was sharp division between the Hutus and the Tutsis. Today, they have the right leadership. Rwanda is the fastest, they have the best GDP today in Africa. They've just built the first 7-star hotel in Africa. All international seminars and symposiums and workshops are now holding in Kigali. Phones used in Rwanda today are produced in Rwanda. What happened to Rwanda? Leadership. Today you see Arsenal jersey by the side of the hand. You see Visit Rwanda. What happened to Rwanda? Leadership. Nigeria borrowed Dubai money in the 80s. Dubai is not a country. Dubai is a state in United Arab Emirates. The capital of Dubai is Abu Dhabi. The capital of United Arab Emirates is Abu Dhabi. Dubai is just a state. But they got it right. The king died. The son took over and said in 25 years, I want Dubai to be the busiest air route in the world. Today, you know what Dubai is. What happened to Dubai? Leadership. Singapore leaped from third to first. They leap the second stage of development. What happened to Singapore? Leadership. Malaysia got palm oil seedling from Nigeria in the 70s. Today, Malaysia is the largest exporter of palm oil in the world. What happened to Malaysia? Leadership. This is the same leadership we want to give to Kogi State. We want in 4 years, we are going to build a new Lokoja. York was there before New York came to being. Jersey was there before New Jersey came to being. Zealand was there before we have New Zealand. We are now going to have a new Lokoja because in 4 years, I'm going to build 4 new districts. Just like El-Rufai did in Abuja. Build Jahi, build Utako, build Katampi, build Utako, build Katampi. And today, you can see it. So we are going to build 4, because you have the real estate companies that have the capacity to do it. All we need to do is to build a new Lokoja. The area of housing, the area of entertainment. We have Manpati, one of the best plateaus you have in the world. We are going to develop Manpati. It will become a tourist attraction to the whole world because we are going to sell Kogi State to the whole world. We're going to have cable cars on Manpati. We're going to have the most expensive plots of land in this country on Manpati.
That's a lot of money you're planning to spend, Senator Milai. Kogi doesn't have it, does it?
I'm telling you that we have it because you know what? We have the ideas. I just told you ideas rule the world.
I'm saying.
And I told you that there's deposit of money all over the world begging for where to invest them. All you need is a connect. All you need is a leadership. All you need is the exposure because you can't give what you don't have.
So your plan is to attract foreign investors to Kogi State?
Yes, and we are going to build our IGR without taxing poverty. Because what is happening in Kogi today is that Yahya Bello is taxing poverty. Moving from one shop to another, making life uncomfortable for civil servants that are not being paid their salaries. No. We will improve IGR because we're going to think outside the box. We're going to raise the revenue of the state without taxing poverty. And we're going to get people who will come on build, operate, and transfer on PPP to come and invest. All we need to do is to give tax holidays. All we need to do is to collaborate with federal government and declare the place as a free trade zone so that they can bring in their equipment, without custom duties and all that. With all this, we'll sign a lot of memorandum of understanding with multinationals, with a lot of investors across the globe to come to Lokoja. We have Ajakuta still. We're going to appeal that the state government take over Ajakuta State because we're going to make it work.
Well, but the federal government is trying to revive it now. Are you saying that?
That has been on for more than 25 years and nothing has happened.
You know, there were concerns as to whether or not it should be...
The state will request for the ownership takeover of Ajakuta State. And we are going to request with it, we are going to request for the takeover with a blueprint.
But how will you fund the revitalization of that?
That's what I'm telling you. I just told you now. That there are loose funds all over the world. Only people who know, let me speak with you now. We have a lot of grants globally that state governments have not tapped into. There's free fund for malaria and to equip our hospitals with malaria drugs. There's free fund controlled by FAO and some other to support agriculture. How are we tapping into it? There are grants for trypanosomiasis. There are grants by World Health Organizations for various ailments and diseases. There are grants even in sports. But people don't have the information. They don't have the technical know-how. They do not even know who to consult to get. But we, because of our exposure, because of our intellectual mobility, because of our global sagacity. Dino Milai is a global citizen. We are going to tap into this opportunity.
You know, our time's almost running out. You have a lot of ideas. And most importantly, you say that the government of Governor Yahya Bello in the past 8 years has not done anything but impoverish the people. You've also said that funds have been mismanaged. If you become governor, would you probe the Yahya Bello administration?
I will start by saying this. That in our policy documents, one ingenuity and one special thing we have done there is the creation of independent Kogi State Economic Development Commission. It's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to have an independent Kogi State Economic Development Commission. Other states have Economic Development Commission, but they are not independent. So that of Kogi State, the difference is that we're going to have an independent body that will be manned by people of unquestionable character, people of integrity, people of probity, who will look into the eyes of the governor and say you are wrong.
No. Senator Malaya, I'm asking if you will probe.
I'm coming there.
Governor Yahaya. We don't have as much time as you think.
I'm coming there. The truth of the matter is this. All injustices done to Kogi State will be probed. I don't want you to personalize it to Yahaya Bello. It's not about Yahaya Bello. It's about the mismanagement of our common patrimony and resources. So all injustices done to Kogi State will not only be probed, but stolen monies will be recovered. And we are going to cut down the cost of governance.
How?
Yahaya Bello is moving today with more than 30 vehicles in his convoy. The implication is 30 drivers. The implication is the tear and wear of 30 vehicles. The implication is the personnel. So the running costs, we are going to cut down, prune down the cost of governance in Kogi State. All these frivolities, unnecessary spendings will not be there. Above that, I am not going to be an Igala governor. I'm not going to be an Okon governor. I'm not going to be an Ibira governor. I'm going to be the governor of Kogi State. I'm not going to be a Christian governor. I'm not going to be a Muslim governor. I'm going to be a governor with the fear of God.
Great.
There is nothing God ought to have done for me as a human being that he has not done.
Oh, great.
All I want to do is to leave a landmark, to leave the developmental strides that will call me for a higher responsibility.
Absolutely.
And I know with God, there is nothing that is impossible. Okay. And we are prepared. I was a scout. The motto of scout is be prepared.
But is your party prepared? Considering the state of the People's Democratic Party as it is now, does it seem to you that the party is prepared?
There's nothing wrong with the PDP. The PDP is the oldest political party in this country.
There's nothing
and is
wrong with
the only political party that have survived in the Fourth Republic. Every other party today is either a product
there are fears that it may not survive any further.
It will survive, but the PDP is not destroyable. The people will come and try, but PDP is indestructible political party. And I'm telling you that every political party have their ups and downs, but the PDP is coming out stronger. Yes, and I'm assuring you that in Kogi State, the PDP is back.
You know why I ask this question? Before the outcome of the presidential election petition court, there were concerns as to a possible rerun. And many questioned if the PDP could be united enough to go into a rerun, considering the state of the party, the rift that still exists between former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, and former vice president, who was the presidential candidate.
The PDP is not about anybody. And the PDP is not about any individual. The PDP is a moving spirit. The PDP is one indivisible political party that, to the glory of God, stood the test of time. I just told you it's the only surviving political party in the Fourth Republic. Every other party has either amalgamated or completely disappeared.
Senator Malaya.
So I'm telling you that spirit of PDP is still there. Well, don't look at the permutations. Don't look at the crisis.
I'm not a politician, so I will not look at permutations. I will only speak to the facts. One of which is your party believes that, to an extent, some members of the party that I've spoken with believe that the outcome of the presidential election, which they ordinarily believed would have gone to the PDP, was scuttled because of the rift between both men. Now, the same man has always been against your ambition to be governor.
I am not interested in any man being against me. I am only interested to be on the side of God and the people. So if any individual is against my ambition and God and the people are with me, I am satisfied. And I'm telling you that my success in life is not dependent on the dreams, aspirations, beliefs of any individual.
But you sound like there seems to be some form of love lost between you and Governor Nyesom Wike, because he's a member of your party.
I will not want you to reduce this decision. This discussion.
He's a member of your party.
I'm coming. I will
described as one of the highest.
With due respect, I will not want you to reduce the governorship election in Kogi State, the people of Kogi State, to reduce them and these projects of the governorship of Kogi State to an individual.
No. Here's why I asked this question. I've followed politics, as you know.
Wike is just one of the 36 governors in the last dispensation.
But you said the damage he caused to your party.
It didn't. Let me tell you something. I will not want you to arrogate anything to an individual. For everything on earth, God always knows the end from the beginning. So let no man take glory or take stride in the rise or fall of any individual or any organization.
But would you be open to having him on your campaign team?
He's not from Kogi State, so I don't understand.
I mean, Governor Adeleke is not from Kogi State, but he's leading your campaign team.
He is the chairman of my campaign team.
He's not from Kogi State, that's the point.
But he's a member. Is indisputable member of the PDP.
That's something that I think would.
And he has not committed any sacrilege.
Unlike.
I don't know what you're talking about, but he has not committed any sacrilege.
Sezobelaye, you are a man who speaks as straight as possible.
Very well so.
You are a former Senate chairman on the FCT.
Very well so.
The current FCT minister is a member of your party.
Very well.
And some members of your party.
Member of my party?
He is still a member of your party. In fact, he says that your principles should be removed.
I still insist that this discussion should not be about Wike.
I'm actually talking
because
about
Wike is irrelevant to the election in my state.
I'm talking.
So I will want you to talk about the people of Kogi, what I want to do for them, what I can do for them, and not trivialize this discussion by upgrading an individual.
I'm not upgrading anybody. We've been talking about Kogi. You've laid out your plans.
Very well.
As we wrap up the conversation, I just want to get your thoughts.
I still insist that I will not respond. I will not respond to individuals.
But that's fair enough. What I was going to ask you was perhaps as FC's former.
You are still going back to that.
I'm not. I promise you, I am not pitching you against anyone.
I'm insisting, my brother, that this discussion should be a focused one. This discussion should be about.
Well, I see that you clearly don't want to talk about that, and I wouldn't push you to talk.
Yes, I would want to talk about relevant issues.
However, as the Kogi election approaches, the Independent National Electoral Commission is promising that all results will be transmitted live from the polling units. You recall what happened in the presidential election. I don't know if you believe the Independent National Electoral Commission right now, especially considering the fact that it had opened up or owned up to its errors and said that all the errors would be addressed.
All I would just say is that Mahmoud Yakubu and INEC have an opportunity for a second chance. They better take it.
So you're confident?
Use it. But one thing I'm assuring you is that the PDP will protect our votes in Kogi State, no matter what it takes. We will protect and defend our votes. But INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, have an opportunity of a second chance and rewriting the history of INEC. They better take it up.
So clearly, you're confident in the ability of INEC.
Every man, every organization deserves a second chance. It depends on how you use it. So I'm watching.
Just as we say goodbye, your final words to the people of Kogi State as we go into the election.
My final words to the people of Kogi State is that weeping may tarry till night, joy comes in the morning. That I'm assuring them that the Egyptians they see today, very soon, they will see no more.
Oh.
We will bring back peace, joy, happiness to the people of Kogi State.
And you know that if you become governor, you'd be inheriting.
I would rather prefer the word when.
Well, I mean, I'm a journalist. I'm not going to be as emphatic as you. You will inherit a whole lot of unpaid gratuities.
A lot.
Are you looking to clear the backlog when you do?
With God, we will. With God, we will. Not only gratuity, not only pensions, There are a lot of promotions that are not cash-backed. All promotions have not been cash-backed in the last 7 years. We're in a very deplorable situation in Kogi State. But Genesis chapter 18 verse 14 is clear. There is nothing impossible for God to do at that point in time. And we are determined to make the people of Kogi happy. We are determined to take them out of the doldrum. We are determined to make sure that we leave the evil forest that we are abating right now. And I know with God, we'll be out of it. I will not disappoint the people of Kogi State. I will not betray the people of Kogi State. I will be honest with the people of Kogi State. And by the grace of God with me, their lives, their cash is safe.
Senator Milaye, I'd like to thank you very much for your time on Political Paradigm again.
The pleasure is always mine.
And I wish you well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, that's Political Paradigm. I've been speaking with Senator Dino Milaye, the PDP governorship candidate for the forthcoming Kogi elections on the 11th of November. Thank you very much for your time as well. Remember to catch this episode and others by simply going to YouTube or go to channelstv.com. I am Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.